of the Scottish because like apparently it's in Scotland now.
Oh, okay.
Hence the cursing. I thought it was Australia at first.
Yeah, I thought everyone was making jokes about it or drawing all this fan art about her because she looked like Onodera. But then it's like, oh no. It's we just made her into like a flat out like foul mouthed girl.
Yeah. I think this is Scottish.
Again? I gotta remember to turn this thing off. This thing runs on really low batteries.
Oh, what a nice looking girl.
What are you staring at me, Pushcat? You gonna have a fucking Pokemon fight or what?
Oh no.
I mean, who the fuck does she think she's having a week?
She's Scottish.
Scottish. Oh god.
Oh, it's beautiful.
What's the other one?
I love it already.
Oh, have you not seen these?
No,
Oh,
I've only seen like the meme format. I've never seen like the videos they've made of it.
Oh yeah, here. I'll play two more.
Excuse me. I'm from Kanto. Can you tell me where?
Kanto? What kind of region is that? More like Kanto. Who the fuck does she think she is?
I'm from Kanto.
And then like, it's funny because I don't even think it's by the same girl, but there is a sequel to that.
Dude, the voice acting is on point. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forget who the person was, but like I accidentally ran into a video where it was the person who started doing the voice. Oh come on.
Yes, I won. Well, I'm waiting.
I'm sorry for being rude to you. I was having a bad day.
What's that? Didn't quite catch that.
I said I'm sorry. All right.
Apology accepted.
You're still for Kanto.
Dude, I love the little like the Joe Summer lefty.
Yeah. It's funny. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, no, it's funny because like I'm watching this show on Netflix right now called The Dragon Prince, which is done by a storyboard artist of Avatar, not the actual Avatar creator.
No, I know what you're talking about. The one with the CG one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a character in there named Rayla. I was gonna say Freya, but yeah, Rayla, who's an elf, and she sounds exactly like that. I'm like, so that's all I hear when I hear this Scottish Pokemon voice. I'm like, all I hear is freaking Rayla from Dragon Prince.
Oh, she got an Android.
Who?
For
Really?
Shirobako. Yep.
Wow. I get it, but then I feel bad.
I'm definitely getting it.
What is? I'm still hunting down those Kingdom Hearts ones. I'm waiting for like the no, it's not an Nendoroid, but like the Bring Arts. I'm waiting for that Bring Arts Kyrie to come out.
Yep. And like her pre-order opens up today. So I'm gonna order it since I get paid. I got paid yesterday, and then I get paid this week for IKEA.
IKEA pays you twice a week?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
No, I got paid for my other job at the school.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, so you're on the same schedule I am, where it's like you get paid next week. Oh, you're getting paid this week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, our schedule. We're different weeks. I get paid next week.
Because I started on a different date.
Right. Does it? It's funny how it works like that. Because mine, I think everyone gets paid the same week.
Because I got paid, Because I get paid the same week as my other coworkers because I started the same time as they did because we all had the same orientation date.
Oh, okay. No, with me it's like the entire store. Mm-hmm. So I think when I started, they paid me, but I still got like a little something because everyone else got paid. Mm-hmm. And then the next week after I didn't get paid, no one else got paid, and then by that point, like that's when everyone was getting paid, and I was getting paid for like the little time I did work there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Universal was like every week. But when you really think about it, because people are like, oh yeah, working at there is great. It's like, when you really think about it, you're getting paid half of what a bi-weekly check would be.
Yep.
What?
Got it.
A moth?
Mosquito.
Oh, even worse.
See? Mosquito.
Ugh. Nuisances.
I don't know how they get in, but I know I can kill them pretty easily. They never suspect it when I squish them.
Oh god. Anyway, guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Bustin' Musket Productions and Amazing. And oddly enough, due to Lewis letting me know in our St. Patty's Day special, we are talking about an anime that could be not very close to the holiday at all.
Keep in mind, this could have been turned into a hentai episode because it is Pi Day today.
Oh God, no, please. We could have the hentai episode for Pi Day. I don't even want to know why they call it Pi Day. I just hope there's not a rape frenzy going on in Scotland right now.
No, it's 3.14.
Oh, pint?
Pi.
Oh.
Like the actual number pi from math. 3.14159.
That's even worse.
6.2.
That's worse because it's a pun.
That's why like the year 1596 must have been a hell of a year to celebrate the day.
And I'm dead. Anyway, guys, we are here with Lewis's pick, which is...
Goblin Slayer!
Wait, do you hear that? It's the sound of angry crowds! Why the fuck are you talking about that? Rape, misogynism! Isn't this story being written by a woman too?
Yes, I believe. I don't remember.
I should look that up just in case. But it's like, I cannot wait till we talk about fucking Shield Hero because that's still the stupidest shit I've ever heard. But like, I love how they're like, the freaking author's misogynist. Oh really? You mean this female author who wrote this story? This female author is a woman hater? Really? Wow, that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Goblin Slayer author.
Which is why I enjoy like picking on SJWs a lot because the minute you call them on their bullshit, everything falls apart.
Yeah, they end up. Oh wait,
that's what makes Fred so easy to tease.
What Fred?
From GCC. You know, the one who's like into JoJo but says he hates weebs.
Oh shit! Is that one of like what's his name? Is that one of Nessa's new crew?
No, old one.
Old Fred. I don't remember him. Oh, are you? Yeah, that asshole. Yeah, he's an SJW dumbass.
It's funny because last time I spoke with Nestor and everything, I told him like, dude, he's literally become the thing he set out to destroy.
Yeah, it's funny because for like a while I remember getting messages from him wanting to like be on a podcast or do a podcast with us, and I'm just like, didn't he tell me that he got a podcast? He got him and his friend's podcast permanently shut down because they were making fun of furries and they brought a bunch of hatred towards them. Ooh. I don't want that. He's an illustrator. It's one of those cases where they don't have any like visual photo to them. But
let me see.
Kumo Kaguya.
Kaguya.
Oh. I wonder what name that would be.
It sounds like a he, but a she as well. God damn these genderless Japanese names! If it was in Spanish, it would have been easier. But honestly, I don't know. It could go either or. Because the family name doesn't really matter. And the first name is like, it can go for either or.
Yeah. Oh, well, wait.
Even better! Our author's genderless.
Joey has an interview with them.
Guys, just here to let you all know that
I think it's a guy then.
Goblin Slayer themed giveaway in this.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's a guy.
It's a guy. Then in that case, misogyny! Burn down the walls!
Even worse, he's dressed as Deadpool.
The most misogynistic man in the world. Not unless you watch the movie where he's in a serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, misogyny and no, it's storytelling, and we'll get into it. Let me pull up the opening because I feel like hearing a banger right now.
By Mealy. Oh, dude, I did not know Mealy was doing the opening for this, and I was like, hey, throw back to Citus, because that's what she does. She got a lot of music put out.
Citus?
It's like this finger tapping game. It's like Osu before like but from with the app world.
Oh, looks like Mealy also has a music video for it.
Yes.
That's weird. Opening. I was about to. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm like, what is this? A freaking Fate opening?
No, it's Goblin Slayer.
Even worse. Because at least people in Goblin Slayer die for a reason and not just to make you cry. I'm so mad at you, Fate, you asshole.
Lancer's undodgeable attacks.
Oh god.
That was so stupid though.
Sadly, Lancer just doesn't know how to undodge attacks either, because they're always dying. Hey, I'm a Lancer! Oh, sweetie, you're not gonna be here for long.
He's literally the Kenny of the big world.
Right? I don't remember, maybe because I didn't finish it, but like, I don't think a Lancer died when I was playing Fate Extella. I really know. Oh god. I really hated what this show did to me every time they showed me female characters.
Dude, and keep in mind that most of them don't have names. Most of them just refer to what they are.
None of them do actually.
Exactly. There's the high elf, there's the priest girl. Literally, there's the girl in the front they call it, and they refer to as cowgirl.
Yeah, cowgirl. Guild lady.
Guild leader.
Yeah. Oh, they do that. Remember when? Huh?
No, I'm just saying it was a repeat after the opening.
Yeah, remember when animes used to do that back in the day? They play the opening and then they play like a little snippet.
When they did the little commercial things and everything?
Yeah.
It's like, thank you, Kurishima.
Like,
do that.
like it's funny, I was watching, I think it's Blood, not Blood Plus.
Blood Sea?
Blood Sea. I think Blood Sea did that, and I know for damn sure Blood Plus did that, and I'm like, fuck, you could tell this is an old anime.
Gurren Lagann does it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, they're the ones I think about it too, because every time I expect some shows to do that based off the opening, I immediately like jump to Gurren Lagann.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of wish all animes would do that. Especially you, Mob Psycho, because that would be amazing.
Dude, Mob Psycho has some pretty good opening music.
They do. That was the one where a lot of people are like, this is like the best opening of the season, and I'm just like, no. Still gotta catch up to you.
Oh man.
I couldn't watch Mother's Basement new video because he's like, oh yeah, this is spoiling up to episode 7. I'm like, I think I'm on 5 still. Shit. Okay, I'll get to it eventually. Man, just because of that fucking anime, I'm gonna buy a game that I'm probably gonna end up selling in like a week. But Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice,
Oh.
I'm like, this looks like Dororo and I want it. Fuck you, Dororo. Yeah, you're gonna make me spend money. But then I hear little things about it, and it sounds like they're gonna make it challenging, but it's still gonna be easier than like Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be fine. I remember I played Bloodborne, and I'm like, I love the look of this game. But I hate the gameplay, so I'll just sell it to my friend who's gonna buy it anyway because he's a big Souls fan. But I'm playing Devil May Cry 5 right now, and I'm just like, you motherfuckers.
Dude, I'm seeing the gameplay footage on my YouTube. I'm like, ooh.
It's so nice, especially when you play as Dante, because you play as like lead characters.
Yeah.
When you play as Dante, his combat is so fleshed out. I love just like playing as a character and realizing that if one style's not working for me, I can literally switch his entire playing style.
Damn.
So I'm like,
I like Nico.
I don't. She's cute, but what the fuck is with that southern accent? I'm like, why? This is obviously supposed to be an Asian girl. And then I look up online and like the girl she's modeled after is British, and I'm like,
wait.
Still.
What?
The girl Nico is modeled after is British.
No, I know, but like, why southern accent?
She has a southern accent.
I did not know that.
Dude, it's I'll pull it up later, but it is super flat out like a southern drawl. It is like, and it's bad. I'm like, dude, this is like mid-2000s bad voice acting. What are you doing? And she's a new character. I'm like, maybe she was in the earlier Devil May Cry game. No, she's a new character.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, but flat out southern accent. Cute, but flat out southern accent.
I mean, I don't find southern accents that bad.
No, you'll hear this one because it's not a natural southern accent.
Oh, so like it's somebody like putting an effort to make them sound southern.
Yeah, too much of an effort. Like cartoon. Alright, anyway, since this is Lewis's pick, and to be honest, I forgot a little bit. So,
It's like, to be honest, or is it just a disclaimer? Disclaimer, I do not support this.
no, I love this show. Even if the first episode did bother me a bit, but I mean, come on, who wouldn't feel bothered by that? It's just mature people like me who won't go to the internet crying misogyny just because the world explained to you that that's what goes down. It's a thing, and they're not doing it for a cheap sympathy tactic, Mira Nikki.
Yeah. Oh my god, Marco.
Yeah.
Dude, that still makes me cry to this day. What happened to those two?
Yeah. The orphan couple and then the priestess girl. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Both of them when I found out in the story and everything, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Why?
Why did you feel you needed this? I already felt bad for them.
I know.
But anyway, yes, Goblin Slayer is a 2018 anime, and it came out in the fall, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. So it came out in the fall to originally a lot of hype. A lot of people are really hyped for it, and
Joey was really hyped for it as well.
Joey? When the fuck was the last time we saw him?
No, the anime man, Joey.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, fuck that guy. Oh, wait, you mean Joey? Oh. Yeah, I know Joey was, because again, he's one of those YouTubers that I follow him just for the sake of, I want to support you in one way, but I don't actually watch his videos.
Oh.
I mean, hence why I didn't know he has an interview with the creator of Goblin Slayer. But, like, he has my support, he has my subscription, you know. But yeah, it's like a lot of people are into this, and it wasn't until Ben who told me, yeah, this has some rape and
Of course, Ben will highlight that.
right, yeah, of course, because cucking. He's a dumbass. Yeah, but it's like there's rape in it, and I'm like, okay, so that might bother me, but you know, it's an anime, they can't make it too gratuitous. I know. I mean, I've seen worse. I've honestly seen worse, but they pull...
Oh god, like Batum?
Yes, I've heard about Batum. I have many people who still want me to watch Batum. Never. Or again, Mira Nikki also...
Multiple victims there.
Multiple victims, and they do show it. Like, not hentai level, but it's like... what Goblin Slayer does is Goblin Slayer... covers the scene up in a little bit of shadow, but they do a zoom in on the person's face.
Oh god,
So
which is like worse.
Yeah, it's worse because that lets your imagination take over, but it's their way of censoring it, but they don't get the premise of, if we do not see it, we will imagine it 1,000 times worse.
Exactly.
For all I know, goblins can have bobbed penises.
You never know what's gonna happen, because again, and then where manners and everything. Goblin Slayer, like pretty much like you mentioned, 2018 show and everything, which became infamous for like that one rape scene in episode 1.
Yeah.
And while bothered a lot of people and everything at first, because you know.
Okay, let's see if any other issues arise. But again, we should be fine, hopefully. Alright.
But yeah, and then again, Goblin Slayer, like beforehand, like if you look back to the source material and everything, people like always told you like, told a lot of like people who want to get into it, especially Joey.
Yeah.
Like just how hardcore and like brutal Goblin Slayer can be and everything.
Yeah.
Because the whole premise of the story is actually pretty much based on the Dungeons and Dragons adventure gone wrong.
Mm-hmm. Or like if we were focusing on darker stories of Middle Earth, because when it really gets down to it, you can tell the creator was a big fan of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was some really big things. I'm like, the Goblin King actually looks like the Goblin King in the books, and oh wait, they have a Riddles in the Dark scene? Oh my god! Yeah, there are a few scenes where I'm like, oh my god, this guy has won my nerd heart.
Yeah, and pretty much like the whole thing, like, then again, the whole recording thing about like Goblin Slayer and everything, like not only like the whole like Dungeons and Dragons thing, like Lord of the Rings as well, but just like just how chance plays a big role in the series as well, because every time like they take risks here and everything, it's always a roll of the dice, whether they get away with it or not.
Yeah. Oh, actually, now that I remember, that's the whole thing with the show is dice. Like, they believe that they're kind of setting up the stage that this entire thing is like a game between gods, like a dice rolling game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, because remember, like in the intro, like they explain the mythology of how the world was created. You know, apparently, like the gods of order and the gods of chaos pay in order to settle the differences, they played a game of dice to decide who gets to build what.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much like a really big theme in Goblin Slayer that really focuses on as well. And for me, when I was watching the show, I could understand why people were disturbed when they first watched that first episode, only because like there was no warning or anything of it from on Crunchyroll.
At the time.
At the time, but that was the first episode only, and Crunchyroll did admit, like, you know, like, oh, that was our bad or anything is like that as well.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only issue, but after that, like, that's when Crunchyroll actually started putting, like, you know, like, started actually putting, like, the advisement and everything, making sure, like, getting the message to make sure, like, oh, just make sure, like, these, there's going to be, like, you know,
there will be a scene that will
yeah,
be
explicitly,
censored.
there you go.
Yeah.
Explicitly.
And it's a good way to kind of calm the audience down too, because it won't, it's not in every episode, so like it's in episode 1 and it's in episode 3 and it's in a couple of episodes after that, but you will be 100% certain when there's not a rape or a horrific scene of violence if that thing doesn't pop up. Like there was one where it popped up and I'm like, there's not it doesn't seem like there's gonna be a rape scene in this episode. Oh god, human meat shields!
I know, right? Dude, and you know, that's one of the things that like made me, that actually kind of drove me curious, because again, going back to the comment section and everything.
Yay!
Every episode I watch the Goblin Slayer, because like the whole idea as to like why they make the goblins do all these like, you know, like heinous crimes and everything, like make them seem like bad and stuff like that as well, is that the author purposely wants you to hate goblins.
Yeah.
Like, in this story, pretty much they want you to see like just how different like these race of beings are compared to humans and everything like that as well. And it was really interesting reading like the comment sections as well, because like one of the people, and you know what, I kind of have like, I'm kind of blaming that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah.
But like people were like really defending the goblins, like, hey, how come we're only showing the bad side of the goblins? Why aren't we seeing the good side, or like what they are capable of as well?
Yeah.
Because remember in that first episode, Goblin Slayer killed the baby goblins as well that were hiding in the den.
Yeah, and it's funny because even I'm like, yeah, that was a little too intense. But then like in episode 12 or 13, they show what would happen if you did leave one alone.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, fuck these things. No. And the thing is too with Goblin Slayer is he's not blind to the idea that there could be a good goblin. He just says they are so close and far between. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, you could find one. Probably not in this kingdom.
Yeah.
Because we have a serious goblin problem here. But it's like, the thing is, I talked about this last week with our Aelita review. Those are two separate worlds.
Exactly.
Like, you can't get mad at Battle Angel Aelita for making it that people can quickly adjust to the robot body, because Overwatch didn't do that, but Overwatch isn't in the same world as that. It's same thing, and reincarnated as a slime, it's a high fantasy world, but it's a lighter high fantasy world.
Yep.
This one is a high fantasy world that is dark, that, you know, right now, they're currently at war with a demon king that seems to be winning.
Yeah. Oh, I thought they were kicking his ass.
They were, my bad. Yeah, they were anyway, I was wrong. Shows you I should have used the second rewatch. But yeah, it was a demon. They were still at war with the demon king, who, yes, they were in fact winning with the help of Haruhi Suzuki. Or it could also be argued that it was one of the Congo sisters.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know you mean like from one of the heroes, like the 3 heroes who were fighting them.
Yeah.
I thought their voice was so similar and everything. I was like, oh.
And the design too. I'm like, come on.
Like, this looks and feels familiar to me. I don't know why, but I'm now attracted to this hero.
Yep. but it's like, they do show this is a dark world, and like the legendary heroes, like the guild people, they're kind of like the heroes from One Punch Man, where they only take on jobs that they know will get them recognition or will pay off.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people do the goblin stuff because they're like, well, I'm not fucking baby level anymore. Why am I gonna go kill these things? And
Exactly, and the only reason Goblin Slayer does is like all of why he hunts the goblins and everything, why he's made this his lifelong career is because his village when he was a kid was actually ransacked by goblins and oh my god,
Yeah.
again they tortured his older sister in front of him while he was hiding.
Yep.
And one of the things you gotta, which is what I actually liked about Goblin Slayer, is this is the story not about like the hero who's supposed to like defeat the demon lord or the quest to like actually like save a kingdom, but it's got to deal more with like with a commoner who was afflicted by a problem like caused by like this whole entire war and everything, and you see his rise if anything to fame like more or less like you see like the commoner not doing something like like heroic as like killing like the demon lord or like ending a war or anything, but doing something that rather he's got his eyes set on in the first place. Only because it was something that afflicted him directly as well, which is, for me, you don't get to see that often in a lot of anime fantasy worlds, because if you see this, like, this is, like, definitely a lot of things like you see in isekais and everything. If you were to put Goblin Slayer in terms of, like, casting when it came to, your run-of-the-mill, stereotypical isekai, Goblin Slayer would have been like probably one of the background characters that would have just been stuck in one city that the main character might have met once and then left after a while.
Yeah, because maybe the goblins had something that was related to the main character and then he left. And
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing I actually didn't think about until you brought it up is this really is like there's a bigger story going on, and in any other case we'd be following that story, but we are just following an NPC who would normally be like a one-level companion.
Yeah. And what I liked about Goblin Slayer the most was like, oh my god, his OST and everything.
I know.
Dude.
Every time like the music started up was amazing. Let me see if I can pull that up.
I have it saved actually on my phone.
Okay.
Because every time like they play that music and everything, I'd be like, the Doom Slayers are right.
I know. and that was the thing too that I found really funny is how like when the show came out, it was nothing but like Doom memes of like this guy's the Doom Slayer, or like if I think even at one point someone wants the Goblin Slayer costume to be like an alternate costume in Doom, which I don't think will make a lot of sense because it's a first-person shooter.
But yeah, but like if you're wondering what we mean, does it?
Oh yeah.
So this is the only ski that they use for Goblin Slayer, and I'm gonna use my voice because like I can definitely talk with a distraction as well.
Okay.
But this is definitely like one of those like music that they use a lot for Goblin Slayer whenever he's ready to like fight goblins or like he's like pretty much getting into action as well. And as you can tell pretty much by the beats and everything, and by the memes as well.
Yeah.
The Doom Slayer right there.
Exactly.
It's like the motherfucking Doom Slayer.
Oh my god. I love that when the chorus kicks in. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Wait, is he gonna kick it now?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like a pretty good emphasis on Goblin. Pretty much like the OST is perfect for him. Because I was laughing at this when I mentioned it in the comment section, but you know that you know how like in Doom 2014, how they mentioned like rip and tear until the Doom is done. I thought it was like I think they did like a medieval version of it. Somebody did it in the comment section on medieval section. It was like rip and tear until line D has been completed. Stop laughing.
No, we haven't gotten to the main chorus part yet. But yeah, it's like you're right.
I can lower it if it makes it come. You want me to lower it?
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is like the OST in here. You're right, is great because they never overuse it. They only use it like they don't play it every time he fights a goblin. They play it when like the situation is dire, but then they quickly get like. They quickly gain control.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, they were, like, what was it? It was that part in the sewers of the major city.
Yeah.
Where they were getting trampled on, pinned down. One of the girls was about to get raped while the other one was getting, like, beaten down.
Oh, no, it was the one with the ogre.
Was it the ogre?
Yeah, because the one in the sewers was the only one that goblins that had actually made the boats.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, because that's the one that I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in the ogre, he was about to kill all of them.
Oh, that's right.
In the sewer, that was one where like they just got flooded because they weren't paying attention.
Yeah, when they found like that evil eye thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, now I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, and it was like, because one of the things they point out, and I wonder if this is just like human ambition or like, what is it? Or maybe something supernatural. But every time he's at his lowest when the Goblin Slayer's about to die, his eye flashes red and he goes into like this berserker mode.
Yeah, because that's like that's pretty much like where, and that's actually one of the more interesting things like actually like got me thinking about the whole series as well. Because like every time his red his eye goes red and everything, it's usually like that's how you mentioned when he's going up against the odds and everything. Pretty much is that. You know what I usually call that?
What?
When I see his red eye glow, I was like, oh shit, he rolled a nat 20.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. He wrote the legendary 28.
It's like, he rolled a nat 20. Armin Jesus is on his side.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. It's like, oh yes, he has ultimate turn. But yeah, it's like, one of the things that is the thing that I'm like, is this a supernatural thing, is the guy who taught him how to kill goblins, because there's a huge gap, and even now, anime-wise, I bet there's a light novel person like, well, in the light novel. But right now, we just know that when he was a kid, he had a little argument with his best friend who, at the time, was visiting the city, and then that night, his town got attacked and ransacked by goblins, and his sister was raped and tortured,
Right in front of him.
Right in front of him while he was hiding under the floorboards. And at one point, he was living in a cave with this weird, impish-looking guy.
I didn't even know what he was. I think like he was an imp or something.
Yeah, it had to be an imp. I would say goblin, but we know that ain't true.
No, dude, that would his PTSD would have kicked in at that point.
Yeah, he was the first goblin I killed. But it's like, yeah, he was like an imp. Like, what is another thing? Not ogres are big, but it's like, it was a weird little subhuman who is believed to be the one who taught him how to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that maybe maybe the whole eye thing is supernatural and that guy gave him like an ability to use it. And it's supposed to be something that was used to fight the forces of evil, but of course, as we know, the Goblin Slayer is incredibly intelligent, resourceful, and but has a weird, definitely is mentally fucked up, because he's using what could easily win the war against the Demon King to kill what is basically this world's version of bedbugs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bed bugs, but more like ticks.
Maybe. The only reason I say it is because as a person who went through bedbugs, you would know they are incredibly difficult to get rid of. Yeah. But like, and we're talking about like having a legendary scroll and...
Was it legendary? I thought it was just a regular scroll that the adventurers used to like teleport out.
I always kind of think of it as legendary because of how incredibly rare it is. Like, remember he would go to the weapon seller like every day and ask if he had one, and he's like, dude, I'll let you know when I have one. These things are really rare to come by.
Yeah. No, yeah, because like if anything, like you probably like not only like need the materials for it, but you also need like a high level mage too to like pretty much enchant it. And like, oh, that was a funny scene, man.
The mage.
Dude, the mage chick and everything, when she was talking to like the priestess, she's like, yeah, your friend over there also comes to me whenever he needs favors. She's like, favors? Yep.
And while she's explaining everything, they're like doing little close-up shots of specific parts of her body.
Dude, holy shit, man. And I know one of like the gripes people had was the way that wizard talked and everything. Cause like every time she talked, like there was always a weird, awkward pause.
Yeah, and she would always talk in an incredibly slow voice like this.
Yep.
And I'm just, I remember that comic. The one that got turned into a meme where it's like, oh, I'll use the one I saw for example. Oh, what a good boy. It's like a guy petting a dog, and then it's like Sagumi is best girl. It's like, oh no, it's retarded. I felt like I had that moment where it's just like, oh, look at that mage girl. Hear her talk for a bit. Oh no, she's retarded. But she's not, no. If anything, she might just be high as fuck.
Exactly. Because like she's constantly smoking something.
Yeah. And everyone knows nicotine is never a thing in the medieval world. It's always a root. Like, even what is it? The people who like I think Tolkien himself or like the Tolkien estate came out and said, yeah, all those leaves they smoke is supposed to be weed. It's not like nicotine. It's weed. The characters are getting high during the high fantasy adventure.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like that's the thing though, is like we're talking about a guy who's getting all of these things and like using them directly to kill, you know, what a lot of people just consider insects in that world. But, you know, he doesn't stop. He is living at the farm that his best friend is now living at, because at that point too, her parents were killed in that like slaughter.
And she's currently living with the uncle who's the owner of that ranch, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ranch/farm/ whatever it is.
Yeah, and the farm, the reason the farm is kind of a big deal, which I think makes the last two episodes really shitty. Not in a way that's bad, but really shows you how shitty some of these characters are.
Yeah.
But it's like this farm. The whole big thing with the farm is that it sells food to the guild that they then serve to the adventurers, and one of the big things in there is he lives over there. Of course, he's paying rent, doing missions where he kills goblins, but he's also like checking the surroundings every morning, checking little bits to see if there's any signs of tiny little footprints or maybe some crops were stolen.
Yeah.
And the farmer, his childhood friend is like, "Oh, that's so nice of him," while the guy's just like, "This dude is crazy." Like, look, I know he's your childhood best friend, but you need to know that this definitely is not the kid.
Yep.
He's crazy, and I don't want me spending a whole lot of time with him. I'm only letting him live here because he's paying the rent on time.
No, yeah, and pretty much like at this point as well, it's like there's a reason why he's called the Goblin Slayer, because at this point he's pretty much an expert in goblins.
Yeah.
And kind of like you mentioned, Daniel, like everybody in this world just thinks of goblins as like pests and everything, but he knows like how troublesome they can really get if you like let them like, you know, gather in numbers, or like let them get like have a chance to like start developing and everything.
Yeah.
Cause oh my god, as we found out in that first episode and everything, there's different types of goblins.
Yeah.
Not only just like the regular, like, you know, like the pipsqueak goblins that people always think about, like that are usually like the cannon fodder, like that cannon fodder like characters you like fight in like fantasy games.
Yeah.
But if you leave a goblin alive for too long, they can actually start like specializing into classes. Yes, humans aren't the only exception to class systems.
Yeah, you have mage, you have shaman goblins, then you have goblin champions.
And then the hobgoblins, which
Yeah.
may she rest in peace, the kung fu, the martial artist.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was too brutal for me. I was like, no.
I think I could have stomached that scene better if they didn't show the fingernails digging into her ass. I'm like, oh, come on! You didn't have to show that.
Dude.
You didn't have to show that.
And then when he killed the mage.
Yeah. Yeah, that show's fucked up.
Dude, that was brutal as hell. I'm like, fucking Christ, these goblins are crazy.
Yeah, here's the thing though, like, I don't really like doing it a whole lot, but when it really gets down to it, the goblins are a lot like the Vietnamese back in the Vietnam War. If you go into their territory, you need to check every nook and cranny. Like, one of the big problems in the Vietnam War is that all of these Vietnamese people knew exactly how the jungle worked, and they were using aspects of the jungles as weapons. So you have these people going in caves where there are crevices and little areas goblins can hide at. So literally when they get to a part in the cave and start getting attacked from behind, they're like, wait, I didn't see anything. How did they get behind us? And then, of course, later on, the Goblin Slayer's like, they were hiding in between little crevices in the cave. You guys just didn't think to check in there, but they were waiting for you.
And what the show does is that even as these goblins seem to pure savages and everything, you can see there's intelligence behind them. Because again, that same scene where they went in the crevice, when they went into the cave and everything, you know how like there was like that little like bone, like that bone little statue that they had and everything. Mm-hmm. Like Goblin Slayer even explained like that was used to like always to trick rookie adventurers, because they pay more attention to that rather than the fact that there's like a fucking second entrance right next to where they came from, where they can easily get like flanked or something.
Yeah. yeah. So and then there's one scene later on. I don't know if it's the sewers or not. It might be another part. But there's even a part where they see like a woman tied up and begging to be killed, not to realize that at that moment they have a bunch of goblins who got past them and are now trying to break the door down to get to that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, they are crafty little bastards, and one of the big reasons to why they're like that is because they're like any other animal, but they do have a level of monarchy too. They have kings.
Yeah, kings, and like again, we explained there's a class system to them. Like if they level up, you got your champions, your hobgoblins, your shamans, whatever other
other thing.
Exactly, like
waiting.
whatever a human can turn into, pretty much a goblin can more or less like have their own version of it as well. Because like you saw the goblin pirates and everything, like the shipbuilders.
Yeah. One. That was the thing too. Did they build those ships, or did someone build them for them?
No, they were taught by one of the goblin champions that like actually learned it by like watching people.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. You have that too. You have them getting the ability to kind of look like, oh, so that's how you do it. Okay, so we'll build a ship, and we are gonna train ourselves to how to do that. So you also have the possibility of goblins leaving one area after destroying maybe an entire village, and then setting sail to like another area.
Exactly, and I'm kind of glad you brought like the parallel to like the Viet Cong or like anybody else, because that was a lot that was another thing like why people like really like were disturbed by the goblins. And I'm talking about not the ones who were against them, but the ones who were for the goblins.
Yeah.
I feel like, and again, this is how I know a show does really good about like antagonizing a group. Is when you make a group so fucking real, madness and intelligence so fucking close to reality, where like you were able to draw parallels to like something else as well.
Yeah.
Because like everything you described, like goblins are smart, but they don't have the technology advances that humans have yet. So everything that they pretty much get and everything they can only do by like learning to like watch how people do it as well, or like picking it up from other goblins that have survived for like ages and everything as well.
Yeah, and when they I don't know, I think this is a thing too, but they had to make sure not to leave anything behind when they went on one of their missions in case the goblin was to see it and then learn how to use it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Here's one thing, if you can explain to me. There was this weird thing the Goblin Slayer would do where every time he'd kill a round of goblins, he'd then start picking up their weapons and like stabbing them.
Yeah.
What was that for? Was that to not make it look obvious that they were attacked by an outside force?
No, so I'm glad I can't believe I actually read your mind, because I was thinking like, oh, I think I know what Danny's going to ask me.
Yeah.
And I have my answer prepared for this. So in the series, the reason why he does that, like why he uses the weapons against them, is because for him, he says like, remember, like, don't waste your, don't use your armaments if you don't have to. Like if everything's already dead, just use their weapons to kill them, just so your blade doesn't rust and like it lasts a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
So that's the reason why he uses like, he picks up any weapons that they have and like kills them with it, because like at that point it's like, okay, they're pretty much incapacitated. I can just use the I can just give them the finishing blow with whatever I have right there.
Yeah.
Because if I use my sword to do the finishing blow, all that blood and everything's just gonna make it rust faster, and I'm gonna have to buy another one at some other point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here I am thinking like, because he did mention that goblins hold grudges, so I was thinking maybe he's doing that to make it seem like infighting. But again, they never flat out say it, so okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing too. Speaking of like being concerned with like weapons and stuff, we see in a lot of these high fantasy animes that like they use the same weapon and they keep using it without really thinking about, is it appropriate for this situation and will it ever break?
Oh, like the guy with the long sword in the cave.
Yeah, I was saying, again, another point of reading the mind. I was going to bring that up right now. Like, in the first episode, you have this guy with a long sword swinging it around in a cave, and there's a part where, like, he was about to attack a goblin, and then something suddenly stops the sword from moving, and he's like, what the hell was that? And when he's killed and the Goblin Slayer comes, he's like, yeah, this sword is too long to have in the caves. You'd end up hitting the ceiling, which is what happened.
Yep. And like, oh my god, dude, that guy died brutally too, because he just got mobbed by all of those goblins in there as well.
Yeah, if you were a girl, you got gangbanged. If you were not a very attractive girl, then you just got like horrifically tortured. Like what they did to the priestess. Like, I think it was one of the hobgoblins in a later episode where he just like breaks her arm just for fun.
Which one?
The priestess. Like, it happens to the priestess. I don't know if it was a hobgoblin. I'm not sure what episode it was.
Oh, the priestess with the blonde hair?
Yeah.
Not the saint one, right? With the blindfold on?
No, it's the main priestess.
Oh, the reason why it broke its arms because she was putting up a resistance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but like those things, the thing with her is like they never tried to rape her. It was always like, we're just gonna like hurt you and laugh at it. Laugh at your screaming in pain. And then also not afraid to show that that regular human reactions amount, because there's the part where she pisses herself and the goblins are laughing at that. Oh god, the show is fucked up.
I know. And then, again, for me, yes, there was a lot of that shock factor when it came to this episode and everything, but, and this is what I always say about every show that I end up liking and everything, what's key to me about a show is not only the story, but also the world building involved as well when it comes to it as well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I feel like Goblin Slayer did pretty good as well, just doing this world building, how like, yes, there's like this bigger story going on where like there's actually these three main heroes trying to fight off the demon lord, but over here you get to see like pretty much not only like the village where Goblin Slayer lives, but also like see how other cities like talk about his tale. Like he's actually become a kind of like a fairy tale like hero of anything.
Yeah, like
the guy playing the lute.
Yeah, the what is it? One of the three other characters introduced are the dwarf shaman. No,
Dwarf.
A dwarf. But he was something. I forget what class he was. But I know there was a lizard shaman and then elf archer.
Yeah.
So like dwarf, archer, shaman.
Oh my god, man! But this is the same thing I was always thinking when I thought of Grimgar of Ashen Fantasy as well. Why is it that the archers are always the flat-chested ones, but the ones with the best booty?
I don't know either. That was the thing I noticed too in Grimgar. It's like, god damn it,
But, like,
that head has a nice ass.
For me, it doesn't make any sense because like archers use chest muscles the most to actually do shit.
Yeah, that's
Well, okay, well actually now it actually makes sense now. Big old pie would just get in the way, which is why flat is justice.
Yeah. Flat is justice and can deliver justice. But like we have those three characters that are in another town and they hear stories from a bard of how the Goblin Slayer took down one of the Goblin Kings. And they look and they go to look for him to basically be like, yo, so which I love the whole fact is like, how would you like to help with a fight against the Demon King? And it's like, no, if it's not goblins, I won't help. But that was one of the things is how they caught word that there's a temple out there where there seems to be a high amount of goblins wandering around the area and going inside. And eventually the whole payoff is that the Goblin King, the
ogre.
Yeah, the Lord of Darkness hired an ogre as a general who then gave him an army of goblins.
Yeah.
So they just want a Goblin Slayer to go in there and help with his expertise. But again, you also get another one of those, I will not fight the ogre because it's not a goblin.
Oh no, it's not that he doesn't want to fight it, it's just he doesn't know how to fight it because it's the first time he's seen something other than a goblin.
Yeah, best idea is to actually train in case something like that happens. But yeah, that's true. And like, because, oh man, see, I really do gotta watch things again. But it's like he's fighting it, gets his ass kicked, and then it's like, all right, time for my trump card. Opens up a skull and like pressurized water just floods the cave, slicing the guy into pieces, and it's just like, wait. You had that whole thing, you had that the whole time and you were going to use it on goblins. Yep, to flood out the cave in case I knew there were too many goblins to handle going in. It's like, can you not do that?
And then like that was funny as well because like that was actually a huge disrespect to the ogre because like as I sat there as well, like pretty much like, you know, like dismembered and everything. And keep in mind, this ogre can fucking heal.
Yeah.
Because it was a demon lord general pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like sitting there dismembered and like when he was talking about like what Goblin Slayer had such a scroll and everything, he was like telling him like, yeah, I was like planning to use it to destroy a nest in case like I ever got overwhelmed, but I guess I had no other choice but to use it on you. And like that pretty much like hurt the ogre's feelings. So it's like, wait, you're just planning to use it on mere goblins?
Yeah.
And then that's where like Goblin Slayer is like one of my favorite lines in that series. Is always like it's like that's because goblins are more troublesome than you are. And he starts carving up that ogre.
Yeah, it's it really does show, because an on-running joke then starts to happen where they're like, no burning, no using fires, and no flooding. Like, please, what in the cave you need to consider there are other people in here.
Yep.
But because he will not hesitate for a minute to just be like, oh, too many goblins, time to freaking throw a Molotov in there and run. Like, even in the, like, I even like how in the sewer episode with the boats, they're like, you said no fire, you didn't say anything about explosives.
Oh yeah. No, and again, the one of like Goblin Slayer's like pretty much like his strengths, if anything, is just his creativity and like just resourcefulness to use whatever he can to like win a battle and everything as well.
Yeah.
Just like how he was taught, like how he summoned that water and everything. When he first introduced the scroll, people thought it was like people now they knew it was a teleportation scroll, which adventurers tend to use like in case like things get too hairy, they can like teleport out of a cave or like go back into like pretty much use it as like a save point, pretty much.
Yeah.
Instead, what Goblin Slayer does is, remember that little mage that mage chick that's always like high 24/7.
Yeah.
Like they're like the favor she was talking about to him, because even she said is like, yeah, your friend of yours right there like asked me for a weird favor once. Is that he actually had that teleportation scroll like sink to like the bottom of an ocean, which
like the deepest part of the ocean where the pressure was at its highest.
Yep, and I'm glad they explained that so well. Cause like when water's highly pressurized, that shit can cut through steel.
Yeah, like that's one of the things with why they keep building submarines to go deep into the ocean, and even with the most high tech submarine, there's still the case that if one little thing goes wrong, you will be dead and not even know it.
Yep.
Freaking James Cameron.
Oh man, but yeah, and I really love that explanation as well to like how like there's method to Goblin Slayer's madness. Like there is a method there.
Yeah, but it's like a method, and that's the thing that bothers the elf chick a lot. It's a method that's not used on it's not used for the purpose she's usually used for. It's not used to go on these grand adventures and fight real evil. It's to fight these little pesty things. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I love about Goblin Slayer, that again, even though there are scenes that made me feel a little with me, you can always have me forgive anything if there is good characterization and really likable characters in that. And I love. And also, again, I'm a real big sucker for high fantasy, and all you gotta do is put a guild together, and you'll have me just like eating out of the palm of your hand. Lord of the Rings. That's. Look, Warcraft can still be the narrative mess it is, but if they had like a guild, then I probably would have been a lot softer on that movie. But there was a lot of lone wolf and like other dumb stuff going on that I'm like, all it needed was to have an adventure element with different guild people going on a quest, and I would have loved that movie. Mm-hmm. But that's right. Again, I really like The Hobbit, despite the fact it is not as it's nowhere near as good as Lord of the Rings, but it has its moments.
Oh yeah.
And this is just like, wow, you have a dwarf. You have a dwarf that can use some level of magic. You have a lizard man who's like a shaman,
and who really likes cheese.
I know. I love that whole joke. It's like, it's the nectar of the gods. I'm like, not really a nectar. I guess dairy, yes? But, yeah. And then you have, like, an orchard girl who's an elf. And it brings this level of fun to the show, even though there will be episodes where they just get their asses handed to each other.
Oh my god, it's medieval Metal Gear.
Yes, thank you.
It's got medieval Metal Gear. You have the broken man that's like on a quest to against a greater evil. You've got the chick with the supernatural sniping abilities. You've got the token friend who's like really helpful at times as well. And then you've got the big guy who's plays the best support.
Oh my god.
It's Metal Gear.
And then you have the weird side character. Oh god. Stop doing that to me. I have very split feelings on Metal Gear.
I'm still in a dream.
Oh god.
Goblin Slayer.
Someone make a gift of our version of that song with Goblin Slayer climbing up a ladder for like 8 minutes. But one of the things with the elf girl, sorry it took me so long to get to this point, is She is like, what you're doing is not adventuring, and one day I hope to take you on a real adventure. What you're really doing is a psychotic suicide mission. This isn't adventuring, this is a fucking death wish.
And keep in mind, like this elf girl, like she's like, no, like all elves are, like she's like, what was like, she was like 1,500, 2,000 years old.
Yeah, she's like the oldest one in that party.
Yeah, because like the dwarf was like around 130 something, and she's like, how old are you? It's like 130. It's like, how old am I? 1,500.
Yeah.
It's like, who's the elder here? And keep in mind, she for the majority of the time she's actually spent it in the forest, like actually like sheltered. Like the only reason she left is because she found that sheltered life kind of like boring, if anything. Because the way they describe her is like she's not just an ordinary elf, but she's actually a high elf, which we all know what that means just based on Lord of the Rings and like RPG games.
They're assholes.
They're assholes or the bougie elves, pretty much.
Yeah. Like they're the elves that, like, okay, it's not very good. No offense to if the creators ever end up listening to this. But there was this audio drama I was listening to a while back called The Once and Future Nerd, where there's a part where they go into like an high elf castle, and one of the funny details they point out is like, and then this character entered in while the doors are creaking. The doors aren't creaking because the place was old. We have a feeling that elves do that to kind of call attention to themselves. Kind of a weird, pretentious thing they have going on. But it's like, they're those kind of elves where they're very bougie, and it is very kind of weird when people in the village start saying like, what's like a high elf doing out here?
Exactly.
What's a high elf doing with the Goblin Slayer? It's like, wow, this is kind of unheard of.
And then, oh my god, though. And like one of the side effects of like of Goblin Slayer that I almost forgot. I was like, I keep forgetting this is like one thing they always had to add at like Fantasy Worlds is like the harem aspect. Even though he doesn't really care for even though he does like he's too dense to it's not that he's dense to us like the chicks are falling for him. Ooh, spooky. The house is falling apart.
Oh god, I'd rather have that than anything else. No supernatural stuff, please.
But the thing about him is that it's not that he's dense and he doesn't like notice that the girls are attracted to him. It's just he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because like all he has on his mind is goblins.
Yeah, there really isn't. Like he has his best friend who's who's obviously in love with him. That maybe it could be argued that that's the one that he might end up with because they do have moments, but they're not like super powerful moments. They're like. He only seems to really relax when he's around her.
Yeah.
The priest girl does seem to be very attracted to him, but it's also kind of like it's admiration that will eventually turn into like
love. Yeah. Because for her it's like you pretty much she pretty much stuck with him because like he was the only one willing to actually mentor her.
Yeah.
And like she like surprisingly like even Goblin Slayer admitted like she's like one of the few people who actually like didn't get traumatized from that first experience with the goblins.
Yeah.
Well, too traumatized.
Yeah, and didn't get scared of him because that's another thing is people are scared of him. There's a rumor going on that because again, what Goblin Slayer will do that is so freaking badass to me is he'll be like, "Oh, hey, guild leader, what's the missions today?" Well, there's goblins in this area, but. There's goblins in this area, but some adventurers are taking care of it. It's like, oh, really? What are the classes? This, and this. And he'll be like, oh, that's either a good class, or in the priest girl's case, it's, I should go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, sorry, I forgot the point I was going in with that.
No, like, he pretty much knows, like, who's, like, well equipped to take on a goblin, and who's making a really great mistake as well, underestimating the goblins.
Yeah, that actually leads me on to a story.
Go for it, Dan.
So there was that episode where him and the priest girl took that mission to go take out the goblins that were in that abandoned building.
Yeah.
So in that episode, there's a mention of like, so we have this, but we also have goblins that are appearing over a person's house. But some adventurers already went over there. It's like, oh really, what are their classes? This, and this. That is a good combo. But of course, like the priest girl is like, no, we should go and help them because what if it's like last time? And it's like, no, this is a higher priority. So I got so invested in that episode that when they're talking, he's going through a little monologue, and they just randomly show like 3 adventurers coming back. I'm like, why the fuck did they show them randomly? And it wasn't until like a few episodes in, I'm like, wait, those are the adventurers who went to go do that mission the Peaceco fought. I'm like, they talk about them and I forgot. I'm like, that's a little random to mention to show those 3 random kids. It's like, oh wait, they're showing that those adventurers made it back from their mission.
Exactly, and like I love like that's one of the aspects again from like Goblin Slayer that I love is like just those little details or like you see how just everything's interconnected in the way and everything as well.
Yeah.
Like and how like so many of these characters can be fleshed out like that Gilgamesh looking guy, the Lancer one.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another interesting thing I like it too is that guy has like legendary magic weapons, but he refuses to use any of them on goblins. Like that's how low people look at these things.
Mm-hmm. And then like, oh yeah, I remember he's the one who's like teamed up with the mage.
Yeah.
Like the mage is high as fuck, like 24/7.
Yeah, he has like a level of a sort of respect towards the Goblin Slayer.
Because like they're all the same ranks. They're all silver ranked.
Right. Actually, I finally remember where I was going with that point. So back when I was talking about how the Goblin Slayer works, there was that rumor going around in the show that the Goblin Slayer, because he was known to take missions that newbies went on, he was known to use newbies as cannon fodder to take care of goblins, but that wasn't the case at all. It was when he was like, they're not going to be able to make it out alive, and I better get over there quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are even people that they're scared of him, and they're like, yeah, he will freaking use you, and you'll die, and he will not bat an eyelash.
And then there was also the other rumor as well, like they're saying like he was like kind of like bashing Goblin Slayer as well, like as like referring to him as like one of the weaker silver ranks.
Yeah.
Because he only hunted goblins and everything as well. And like like everybody then the Adventure Guild just kind of saw the goblins as like pretty much as slimes, like like just mob characters that are like just you can just hack and slash through.
Oh god, can we get a show called Slime Slayer? I can imagine the horrific things that could get people mad about that.
Dude,
I'm talking about slime entering through offices.
oh god, no. That's what Joey thought was gonna happen in that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That's what Joey thought exactly was gonna happen, but then once he watched the show, I was like, oh wow, I was completely wrong about this.
Crawl into the private area and crawl out through the mouth.
Oh god, man. That's actually kind of like that reminds me of like Overlord. Remember like that one slime maid?
Yes.
That's literally like how she heals people. It's like she's able to like heal people because her slime has like, I think she has the ability to she has healing spells that she can cast.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a slime, but she knows a level of magic because that's the way they designed her. But yeah, it's like. I don't want that. I've seen the Blob, the 1980s Blob, but like I've seen that movie. I know exactly what that looks like, and I don't want to see it anymore. But yeah, it's like there are people who bash him, and it isn't until like Guild Leader points out in a flashback that says, "You're silver rank, but remember you earn it because you're an expert in your own area."
Exactly, and this is why exactly again as well. Like you know what? I'm glad we're not discussing this like this show sequentially, just because it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm actually, and I'm noticing too because I'm like we're getting really close to wrapping it up. So I think, well, not yet, but I mean, I really do feel like we're not getting bogged down, and I think this is even how we might do it next week too. Even though that show is significantly shorter than this.
Yeah. Genlock?
Yeah, but it's like, I really do like the fact that we aren't doing it sequentially. I mean, maybe every now and then we might, if the show kind of calls for it, but Goblin Slayer really is kind of an episodic show that it would be like, well, this isn't story by story, so we'll talk about aspects of it, and this is working. But what do you say? Yeah,
because like for me, like this is like what gave me like the most importance, like especially towards like the more final episodes, all the way to the back.
Okay. I'm getting a water bottle, people. Sorry about that.
You're good. But like for me, this is why I like how like just the importance that they gave to like the final episodes of the show, because it wasn't until then where like Goblin Slayer actually like called upon the guild to like actually help him like defend the farm like from the impending goblin attack that they actually realized just what he has to deal with on a daily basis and just how not to underestimate goblins pretty much as well.
Yeah.
Because everybody, both like rookies and veterans, both joined with Goblin Slayer to like help him defend the farm.
So, as we pointed out, every time Goblin Slayer lives at the farm, he wakes up every morning to check to see if there's any breaches. So he's always expecting maybe one or two, a couple of little footprints here and there. But we're talking about like him going towards the meadow of land, moving across the meadow, and you see hundreds of little footprints, and he's like, yeah, so we have maybe what I'm thinking about 150 goblins, a few hobgoblins, a few champions, and the reason there might be so many is because a goblin king saw your land and wants to use it as their own.
Yeah.
So you need to get out of here. And that's something that I'm like, shit. You can even tell even he didn't know that was a possibility.
No, yeah, and like for me, like again as well, like this is like a pretty like character defining moment for him because throughout his career he's pretty much like slayed the goblins by himself. Like he didn't try to rely on too many people or anything, or he never called upon the help for the guilds as well.
Yeah.
But it really goes to show him how like even though like sometimes like people may bash him or like they might like trash talk him or anything, like they still kind of find him lovable in like a horrific kind of sense.
Yeah.
Like they treat him as like a guild mascot. And I thought that was like a funny scene as well, because like when he was asking about like when he was like talking about like how saying like he doesn't have the money to pay them, but like he'll be indebted to them as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Lancer guy came out, I was like, you dumbass, it's like it's not money we're looking for. It's like how would we feel if our own legendary Goblin Slayer was just one day disappear from our guild? It's like it'd be pretty sad.
Yeah, and God, that's another thing too. Is like you see how low he can get when he knows something's too much for him. Because we're talking about like, I'll give you, what are you putting up to sell? And it's like, well, I don't have a lot, so everything, my money, my armor, my weapons, my knowledge, all of it is yours. Everything. And it's just like, they're looking at him like, Jesus Christ. You know, like, oh my God. And that's why the Lancer guy was just like, yeah, you idiot. How would we feel if our, more or less our mascot disappeared or died? No, just freaking buy me a drink. And luckily, the guild leader had his back because the guild leader, best girl.
Yes, I agree with you with that.
Okay, good. But yeah, the guild leader who has a really giant crush on him, like they dedicated like half an episode to that.
Dude, it's funny, man, because like even her friend tells her like, it's funny because I know for sure you have a thing for like guys who are like straight laced or like serious.
Yeah. How straight laced and serious can you get with a guy who probably doesn't even have a working face? I say that because he has no emotions and we don't see his face. But we do know he's human because I swear to God, up until we saw that episode with the sword priestess, I thought he was like half goblin or something. I thought he was like a weird little half human, half goblin child, and that's like he hated goblins so much.
Oh man, dude! Oh my God, dude! When I saw that scene with like the sword priestess, and more importantly with the priestess girl and everything, I was like, there goes that purification magic that I see every time. How it always has to be some kind of lewd ritual. But you know what? At least it kind of made sense because like, they are appealing to the god. They are appealing to a goddess.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And it is kind of fucked up what happened to the high priestess. As well.
My God! Yeah, like okay. So this is one of those cases where the show really does show you that like. All of these badass little guys who are like, oh, the goblins, they're nothing to me. With the blah, 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 this and that. It really does show you how with just one bad experience can break down a fucking legend. Like, we're talking about a girl, was she like the sword goddess or priestess?
She was a priestess she was pretty much one of like the 7 heroes before who defeated like the previous demon lord.
Oh, okay.
So she was like I guess you can say she was like optimized heal support.
Yeah. So she was like a legend, a badass. A lot of people looked up to her. which is why they found it really odd. Like, why would you're like one of the legendary heroes. Why are you calling the Goblin Slayer to take care of your little goblin problem? And it turns out that she was horrifically raped and held captive to the point where they walk you through everything.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to fight, then it went from calling for help, then it went from crying for help, then it went from crying to death.
Exactly. And like again, like the only reason she even survived that is because like the rest of her group had to rescue her.
Yeah.
Because like, and you know what? This is understandable because our class is mainly healer/support, and like anybody who plays like RPGs and everything knows you never leave the healer alone.
Never. No. And if they do have a weapon, it's not very effective. I mean, just look at Mercy from Overwatch.
Yeah.
Her little pea shooter.
And I think they've actually buffed that thing.
I know they did. I played like a few months ago and I used it and I'm like, wait, I just killed that guy in a few shots. I remember when I had to be like, ah! Doo, doo, doo.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like you really do see how these people do. Those people all from the guild that Goblin Slayer is at, they really are taking these little fuckers for granted because they literally broke down like a legendary hero. That's like. Mm-hmm. Gandalf getting tied up and beaten up by goblins, like a fucking person who you thought was untouchable is like, look, the reason I called you was because I'm scared. I don't want to see those fucking things. I called you to take care of them for me.
Exactly, and like again, like this is something the reason why she could trust Goblin Slayer is because only he's the only other person that she could think of like who actually like can acknowledge like them. Just like the kind of terror that goblins could even instill into people as well.
Yeah.
Because as you saw in the guild and everything, like if somebody of that high order asked for help for like another adventure to like with a goblin problem or anything, they'd probably like scoff at her or think she'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Because they don't know just what goblins are capable of, and more importantly, just her experience with goblins, like why she fears them the most.
Yeah, and that's why like when he started asking them for help, they're like, oh man, that's not even worth my time. And they literally had to get bribed with, for every goblin you kill, you get 1 gold coin.
Yep.
And with like 150 goblins, plus the hobgoblins, plus the champions, plus the king, that could like wrap up to a hefty little penny there.
Exactly.
And that was the thing that I really liked about that final scene too, is how they see how nasty these things are too. Like, when Goblin Slayer was talking them through everything, and he tells them about the meat shields, and you finally see the meat shields and how the adventurers' reactions to them, they're like, fuck, we didn't know they'd do something like this.
And more importantly, just how intelligent they can be, because like one of the things, like especially like when I saw like the grand fight and everything, is when they were getting flanked by like the goblin riders and everything, and they were actually prepared to fight. It was like, wow, they actually flanked just like Goblin Slayer said.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, we shouldn't underestimate these guys as well.
Yeah, exactly. And if this was like, if they didn't have the Goblin Slayer, if this fight played out was set up exactly the way it was set up, but it didn't have the Goblin Slayer, a lot of people would have died.
Exactly.
Because if I remember, there weren't casualties in this fight, right?
No, there were.
Oh.
Only towards like the end though, when like the champions arrived.
Oh,
only because
okay.
like the rookies were trying to chase the stragglers into the forest, and then that's when the champions ambushed them.
Oh, yeah. See, another thing too. Lure the smaller prey to get attacked by the bigger prey.
That's pretty much where they had to pull the rookies behind and let the veterans pretty much take care of the champions.
Yeah, which I still love that joke in the end where it's like, I still get 1 coin, I took down the champion, sorry, a goblin's a goblin. but it's like, that is cute. There were some casualties. I might just have to watch this again. But there were a few casualties there, and just some, yeah, you're right, there could have been more.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Danny, I might as well tell you now, but since I'm going to be dressing you as Naofumi, I might as well tell you I'm going to be going as Goblin Slayer for Crunchyroll.
Aww, we're both people who get shit on, but I get shit on the most. one's a rapist and the other one's just mentally insane. I like the mentally insane one better.
Alleged racist.
Alleged rapist, right. Sorry, alleged rapist.
Remember, Nalfumi got screwed over because of SJW logic.
Yep.
They didn't even give him a fair trial, and then they pretty much treated him as trash from then on.
Well, they even said it themselves that even in an attempt at it, you'd fucking die. Mm-hmm. But you're a shield hero, so we can't kill you.
And again, we'll talk about Shield Hero once that shit finishes, because I want to talk about that show when it finishes.
I know, why'd you have to be 25 episodes? I mean, good, but still, it's waiting too long. But yeah, it's like, again, with like Goblin Slayer, I loved the fuck out of this show when I first saw it. Like, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, because a show that's usually that hyped up, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably have some problems. But there was some where I'm like, the only real problems I have with the show is it personally creeps me out. But everything else, I'm like, dude, this is the kind of stuff I want. Like, this is, without the rape, this is the kind of stuff I wish like American television would do. It's like a high fantasy adventure stuff with stakes in it. Mm-hmm. That's like Dragon Prince is really refreshing to me, even if it does get a little too goofy for its own good.
Yeah. And then, again, as well, it's like, because like, it's like breaking like, it's breaking that like notion like where like every adventure like is like pretty much like the highlight of your life and everything as well. And then this is like pretty much showing like the harsh reality of like, okay, but like that's only like if you're the main character. But like say what if, for example, if you're a commoner who had to build himself up from like a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Then you get to see like where the struggle actually comes in, because again, this is like like a medieval world with like where magic exists and everything. And you know how fucked up the medieval times even in our reality was.
Yeah. And they really do go into all that. Diseases and stuff, how shitty some towns are, how selective some magic can be. But like, I also really like, because when they were fighting the goblins, the fight seemed a lot to take me back to another anime, and that was Drifters.
Oh.
How they would use people's spells who you would think, oh, that's not really lethal, and turn them lethal as fuck.
Oh yeah, when he used like the wall spells to like
to crush that goblin.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I would have never thought about that. It's like, okay, use one to block it, and then put one so it doesn't try to run back. Okay, now put one just right up at him, like right there, and like it's just crushing him, breaking bones and stuff. It's like, it's one of those things where you look at a spell that shouldn't be lethal and see just how lethal it can be made.
Like the priestess Protect, when he was burning the tree and everything, he used the Protect spell to like pretty much like trap them in the tree and like let them suffocate through the smoke.
Oh yeah, right, okay.
And that was a funny scene for me, because like I just saw the priestess like praying to the gods like, oh please forgive me for using this spell that's meant to protect and take another's life.
Yeah, and that's the thing that took me back to Drifters, is when you had what was her name? Omemu?
Oh, Omni Boobs.
Yeah.
Like how the Wunaga called her Omni Boobs.
Oh, okay, so it's Omni-Nu. But yeah, Omni Boobs. But where they used her spell to trap a bunch of dudes in a church and then burn it down. And even she was like, fuck, I didn't know they were gonna use it like that.
Dude, Omni-Nu was my guilty pleasure in Drifters.
I still have a lot of problems with how that dude does women, but we'll get to that when we eventually do Hellsing. Why the fuck haven't we done Hellsing yet?
I don't know.
It's gonna be a while, because after Genlock, we finally have to do that over there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
After your pick, after Genlock, that is. Like, it's gonna be Genlock, then it's gonna be your pick, and then we'll do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like... it's like, we'll get to that, But anything else you want to bring up?
Damn, I think I covered pretty much everything that I liked about this show as well. I think like, is there anything else you want to go into? Because like, I think we pretty much went through like everything in regards to like the world building and like just stuff about Goblin Slayer.
I can't really think of anything. You know, I talked about how much I love the adventure aspect of it, even though again, according to a character, that's not adventuring. But that's another thing I like too. It's like, this isn't him going on an adventure. This is him doing some psychotic death wish.
Yeah. Ooh. And then like, if you want, you can go into final thoughts. I have a picture that I need to show you for this.
Okay. So anyway, since we do have an opening, schedule change on Wednesday next week. Okay.
Where is it?
Ooh, wait. If they change my schedule on Wednesday, that means I have a shift. Yes. Oh yeah, I saw that. A friend posted that.
Yep. But that's not the picture though. But yep.
Yeah, it was a comic of 2B putting on clothes and becoming the Sword Priestess, because the Sword Priestess also has a black blindfold.
God, man, I found so many fucking memes for Goblin Slayer.
What is this? Welcome back. How did the quest go? Fucked up how a goblin is a cup and not a tiny goblin. Oh, a goblet is a cup. Okay, I read it wrong. I like that. It's a goblet is a cup and not a tiny goblin.
Fucked up how goblet's a word for a tiny cup and not an actual tiny goblin.
Yeah.
Dude, and like really goes to show again just how it's taken him over.
Yeah, just he really is insane. Like witnessing the murder of your sister and the horrific rape. It's like that could fuck up anyone. And I do that's like, because I remember seeing in a comment people were mad at the girl's uncle for treating him the way he does, but I'm like, what's he doing wrong? He's trying to protect his only living niece from a dude who's obviously crazy, and
exactly.
And she's kind of blinded to the idea that, oh, he's my best friend, and yeah, he's a little out there, but he's still that sweet boy, and the guy's like, no, that's not him. And
yeah,
the uncle obviously did soften up a bit near the end, at the ending of the series, because he did save his livelihood. But it's still like you do have that entire scene when the Goblin Slayer is trying to get his friend to leave with the uncle, and he's like, you do realize that if they get in, they're gonna make you wish you were dead. And it's like, yes. He's talking to her like, look, I just want you to be ready for the possibility that this doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And there is a part during the fight where goblins do get into the house, but the rookies were there, luckily.
No, yeah. And again, it just really goes to show you just like how you cannot underestimate the goblins just because like they feel like they're like mob characters, like just something like you wouldn't like necessarily deal with as a high level like warrior or anything like that as well.
Yeah. So we'll go straight into final thoughts. Let's hope that there's not an ad. Why does that name Soraru sounds familiar?
By Soraru? I don't know.
Maybe they did an opening, I didn't know. So, Goblin Slayer. After hearing all of the controversy, there we go.
It's such a calming ending.
It really is. So after hearing all of the controversy going into this show, I knew I wasn't gonna go into an experience that was too bad. Again, like the rating for this show went down a bit to the point where they had to disable ratings because they realized they were just people. Who is that?
My mom calling.
So because of course there were people going in and unfairly rating it and crying, shame and all that. But going into it as a person who is a fan of high fantasy, who is a fan of Tolkien, and really does want to see like the regular form of high fantasy go back into something a little bit more simple, Goblin Slayer brings me all that without going a little too far up its butt with the whole depressing motto of it. I always keep hearing little references of how it's a lot like Berserk, but I don't really think it's trying to be like Berserk at all. Again, we have a plot line that is basically Berserk, a Dark Lord's taking over the land and heroes are doing everything they can to stop him, but as Lewis stated before, we have the just following up a normal man going up and, going into the mind of a person who is mentally disturbed, and it works. It truly does work. Of course, it may sound a little silly at first, a guy going in and stopping goblins, but it really does do so much more with that premise. Like, when you hear a show called Goblin Slayer, you think it's just going to be a guy fighting goblins, and they'll throw in some fan service and stuff just to spice up the otherwise bland idea. But when I went in, I was realizing this was a love letter to Tolkien of all things. that was following its rules of high fantasy, but also being a character study of a man who is obviously mentally disturbed. Goblin Slayer is a broken man, and I have a feeling that the reason they want to keep his face covered is because everyone knows that a face is a form of identifying humanity, and by showing us the face of Goblin Slayer, it really does it would take away the mystery. Hey, I was just saying how it was kind of a smart idea of them not to show his face, because it kind of does feed into this whole he's not really a human anymore, because that's how deep he let his hatred go.
Yep. Well, like at the very least, we can confirm he's a pretty boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, he's a lot more handsomer than I thought. Again, I thought he was like a half goblin guy, but you know. Oh
Dude.
wow. So that's actually perfect. Overall, I freaking loved this show, and I would recommend it to many other people to watch it. Just be ready that you're gonna be walking into some heavy shit.
Yeah, and I know sometimes I can sound pretty sarcastic, but this is me being real. This is literally not for the faint of heart. So if you're like somebody who's like really like sensitive to the topic, or like like just something like you just like cannot handle it all and everything as well. I know Crunchyroll puts the warnings and everything. You can play it if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like this is going into it as well. I know Crunchyroll puts the warning, but like for me as well, to like all the audience guys as well, really go into the show thinking like, okay, this could be potentially triggering and maybe pretty much too horrific for some people as well. So really brace yourself if you really want to get into this series as well. Just like brace yourself, okay? Because like when we talk about it, we're not doing it enough to like warn you about it or anything. Just like because when we talk about it, like it makes it seem like, oh, okay, so like it's just something that happened in the background and everything.
Yeah.
No, you go through the actual scenes and everything like that.
Yeah, and they really okay, let's put it this way. The brawler girl who gets raped in the beginning of the show has to get sent to a camp for battered women.
Exactly.
That is how bad the show is.
Exactly. So really high warning and everything for that as well. If you're like of the faint of heart, or like this is just something that's not your like your cup of tea or anything, like it's just something that's too sensitive for you as well, highly recommend that you like don't watch the show, or like maybe read the light novel.
Yeah.
Just because again, like the visuals can be a little bit too intense for a lot of people as well, and like this is not me being sarcastic. This is me being for real legit, like psychologist Lewis speaking actually.
Yeah.
Don't watch the show like that's something that's gonna easily like cause a trigger or anything like that as well.
Yeah. This is very much a high trigger warning show. Fuck, I forgot about. It wasn't until now that I remembered. Oh yeah, they had to send that girl to a battered women's camp.
Exactly, and it's even worse because like you know what. Like, somebody apparently told us in the light novel and everything, which is like, I was like, spoiler, but now I feel even worse for that chick. She was actually pregnant with a goblin.
Oh!
And she committed suicide shortly after we told her. That's how bad it is, people. So, unless you've got really tough skin, or it's something that's like, like you can look over, highly recommend that you don't watch it for the visuals.
Fucking A. Please no season 2, because I know they'll have to bring that up in season 2.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, White Fox, do a season 2. You guys don't do enough season 2s.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, keep going.
And yeah, but now that the warning's done and everything as well, like now that we got that out of the way. So, for me, watching Goblin Slayer and everything like that as well, I got hyped for it because again, I'm also a sucker for like fantasy and everything as well. This is a genre that I really love and everything.
Yeah.
And more importantly, once I actually started watching the show, I was like, oh yes, they go into the psychology behind this madness and the madness and everything, the methods he does.
Yeah.
And more importantly, just how his experience shows in like dealing with goblins and everything as well, because many people are like, again, they don't really think of goblins as like a threat or anything. Like they don't see goblins as like like something like you should be worried about. And here you go, goblins are like proving them wrong, showing like, no, this is something you actually like need to be worried about. Like these shits are evil.
Yeah, they are horrific. They're psychotic. They're not animals, and they're not goofy creatures who talk. That's another thing. These fuckers don't talk at all. They keep making these creepy little laughs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the thing about them is like, And this is something like you see across anything at all whenever there's conflict. The more intelligent something is, the more fucked up it can get with you when it comes to war or like fights and everything as well.
Yeah.
Cause like if it was any other animal, like I feel like Goblin Slayer like kind of explained it this one time where I don't know if I just read this off of a quote from like the light novel as well, but the thing that Goblin Slayer is like the only reason they're capable of committing these atrocities is because of their intelligence as well.
Yeah.
It's because it's not that they're like animals that they can like like oh like you're doing this by instinct. No, they're knowingly doing this to spite humans because like goblins and humans just like mix like oil and water. They just don't go together.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you have a lot of goblins that are trying to take over a town from the sewer system or trying to take over a farm so they can then create a camp to attack the town that's over it.
Exactly. And like I'm gonna do this like one more attempt. I think I might know where the picture is. So like I'll give it one more go. But for me as well, like just seeing the whole series and everything like that, seeing like just how everything's like a high stakes and like all in or not, and more importantly, just like just seeing like just how not only Goblin Slayer like gets through like by himself, but also like just how he like gets help from the group as well, and just how helpful it is for him to like actually get that help.
Yeah.
For me, it was like kind of like watching like one of those things like where like watching him like start from like the beginning of the episode all the way to the end. I think he's really developed a lot throughout the whole series.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's another thing too is this is a character who so easily could have been boring, but I think it's thanks to the characters around him and the fact that this is a delving mind into a withering mind. It really is like it really makes him a fascinating character.
No, yeah, and which is why he made for an amazing abridged series character as well. Because holy shit, the abridged series Goblin Slayer is like night and day for personality.
Okay, I gotta look that up.
Whereas like just like a little bit of hint. Whereas the regular Goblin Slayer is like broken to the point where he's silent. Mm-hmm. The Goblin Slayer in the abridged series is broken to the point where it's just like Deadpool now.
Oh god, of course they do that.
Not the picture I was looking for, but this made me laugh.
I reject my humanity, JoJo. Oh no! Very joke. So, anything else?
But yeah, and then again, just seeing like his method to madness, and like there's like more than one way to show like how people go mad at anything as well. Because for Goblin Slayer, revenge kind of turned into like an obsession at that point.
Yeah.
It was something where it's like, no, I have to kill the goblins and everything. Like, I can't sleep until like all the goblins become extinct, pretty much.
Yeah.
And again, fight scenes were amazing. They were killer. The OSTs were like, ooh, it feels like I'm watching Doom.
I know. And again, yeah, and this is White Fox, who has always been like a 50-50 company for me.
Yeah.
They can have animation that looks like movie quality good, like this or Steins Gate, and then they can make stuff that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're definitely a TV show on a budget. But like this is them, like this was our big project of 2018.
Yep.
And we really want you guys to enjoy this.
Exactly. And like for me, everything I feel like for Goblin Slayer was executed pretty well. Definitely caused an uproar with a lot of people, with a lot of the Western fans as well. But I'm like, hey, you know, if it gets that much attention from like the media and everything, then like, I guess it did its job, which is like presenting like a horrible case as to like why we should hate the goblins in the first place.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who started watching the show because of all the uproar. She was like, wait, I keep hearing about this show that got people mad, and I'm like, Goblin Slayer? She's like, yeah, that's what it was. And I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of like, apparently there's a rape in it, so that's what's getting a lot of people mad. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to watch it, and then she got all into it. So that's what happens when you complain about things, people. You just bring more attention to it.
Mm-hmm. And which is what contradicts a bunch of like what SJWs try to do. Yeah. And this is like what I liked about like one episode of Gumball when he talked about like when he talked about SJWs. Yeah. They don't start arguments to support the cause. They start arguments just to make this just to feed their own egos and everything. Yeah. Which is like that episode always gets to me. You know what? You're searching the episode?
I'm searching the episode right now.
Play that clip, man, because Gumball nailed it when it came to like SJW mentality.
Is this it? Please.
Isn't tolerance about... Not everyone can afford her. I need Kung Fu. Show me. Have you ever tried whole grain bread? It's far better for you. Not everyone can afford organic stores, Carmen. Maybe you should check your privilege. I just meant that eating too much processed food is a big factor in weight gain, and What? Big people shouldn't be proud of who they are. Of course not. I mean, ask your doctor. He will tell you. He? Why would you assume the doctor is he? Is it because you assume a woman can't be a doctor? What is this? I have studied the martial ways of the social justice warrior. Fight me in an argument if you dare. Perish under the sword of my self-righteousness. But Gumball, exploiting those powers to win some petty argument will just hurt the cause of the people who really need our help. Wait, no, my powers! Instead of fighting, why don't we just hug it out? Wait, stop! What are you doing? I forgive you. No! The shame on that! It's all coming back at me! And I can't even be angry about it.
It's so funny knowing this is like an 11, 12-year-old kid who has to say all this stuff.
And it just, you know what? He really nailed it when it came to like just again like that part of like where it's like really like whenever you start like an argument just to like win like a petty like argument or anything like that, it really only if you're like into the SJW mind, it's only gonna hurt the cause more than help it.
Yeah.
Only because like you're sacrificing the cause for your ego, which is where like it's really like. Especially when it comes to the internet. Ooh, there's so much I can talk about the internet just on psychology. But I'll save that another time whenever we talk about anything regarding like anime that deals with the internet.
Yeah. Very far and few between.
Mm-hmm. But hey, one of the dangerous things, I could not find the picture. I'm sad. But one of the few things like you gotta think about it, you know what? Google can help me. I'm not done yet. But to bring back to my point and everything, there's a lot of things like especially when it comes to the internet, it's really hard to tell who's actually serious about the cause and everything, and then who's like just using it to extend their own ego and everything. I won't go with the other more metaphor and everything, just like it can be more broad to people and everything. But you can see how that can be just demeaning to like the actual cause.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier was like. These really aren't the goblins from like The Hobbit either, because you have goblins here that are like evil, but you see them dancing and wait, what? What is this? This must be from the extended edition. I don't remember this actually. Yeah. But yeah. These goblins aren't singing and dancing around. They're fucking killers, and that seems to be the only thing they do know. But yeah, anything else? Sorry.
No, that's pretty much it. That's like pretty much like all I had to talk about when it came to Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, but god damn, the 3 hours for the extended edition. No wonder I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, overall the show. You know, we both agree the show's fantastic, and it really does suck that it got the wrong kind of attention.
Oh God!
Oh God, what? Oh God, why did they have to do that? Shrek is creepy enough, people.
Yes, I did not need that. I did not need that image in my head. This the search for the image is just like killing me now. Well, like we can end it here.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. So anyway, I really do think that this whole non-sequential thing worked. But you know, sometimes we'll probably just do it. We'll do it for like our biggest shows. I think Genlock we probably won't have to do that because that is very like directly story driven.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so next week is my pick, and we're gonna be talking about Genlock, which yes, I'm so excited. Easily one of the best mechas to come out in the last couple of years, and that's saying something because I mean, when you really think about it, this isn't an anime.
Hey, sometimes it's surprising because like someone like the best genre winners can be like, you know, not even anime here, like made in like Japan. Sometimes it's made with Western, like with Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, Devilman Crybaby. Oh well, that was an anime studio. That was like Japanese team, but the money came from an American company.
Exactly, Netflix.
But did you see Giger's video about branding?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, the best example actually is Castlevania. I didn't know that the anime community adopted that, but that is not in any way a Japanese show. Only from a Japanese game company, but yeah, like people love that. And I think Genlock should be adopted into that. But, we'll go into a little bit more detail next week, and I need to remember to give you my Rooster Teeth access. Okay, so anyway, guys, I'm Danny.
I'm Musquatcha. Oh, God.
What? Wait, let me see. I think I've downloaded the wrong Goblin Slayer. Oh, God. Wait. What? What is that?
JAV.
Oh, no.
Okay, I need to stop this.